Design Love podcast, Let's Talk Design, where I share tips and hacks to help you design not only your life, but your home your way. I am Denise Joy, an interior designer, a space curator, 26-year college professor, and I'm the founder of Learning to Live Abroad podcast, where I share my step-by-step progress to retire and move abroad, and some information to help those women who want to achieve their move abroad dreams. Today's episode is part of my closeout for season 2 of Design Love podcast, where I'm focusing on designing your home, every room in your home, using the principles of Afro Bohemian design style. Now, this is a redo. There was some technical glitches a little bit earlier this afternoon for this live. Hopefully, we have put those behind us. I'm hopeful. And those of you who had joined me on the previous live, I really appreciate you. And hopefully, you'll be able to watch this as it's a video, because all of the lives do become a video. On today's episode, I'm super excited. I'm trying something new. I'm doing props, which I normally don't do on the podcast, right? And today I'm teaching and I'm talking about tips and ideas to help you use wallpaper to ground your Afro Bohemian design style. Now, this episode, me using props, is inspired by a viewer who left a comment. And she was saying she loved the podcast, but she's visual. And she wanted to see like little clips and things pop up as I was talking and sharing the ideas and teaching on the podcast. And I was, in my comment to her, I said, well, that's normally if I do an edited video, that's the style. But for a live podcast, I don't have pop-up features and things like that because it's live. But as she was commenting, I thought, you know what? I should try to use prompts, okay? And so I'm going for it, right? Just like I said just a minute ago before I had to redo the video, that we should try new things in our lives. So bear with me, go on this journey with me, y'all. I'm excited to work in some props into, what I'm doing here. And do a little bit of housekeeping. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my always awesome videos. Shout out. Okay, yes, I'm going back live, McCarter. Oh, cross our fingers, send up some ancestral intervention. No technical problems. That's the bane of any YouTuber who goes live or anywhere when you go live, that you're going to have buffering, right? And so, I'm apologizing, although I clearly do not control technology, right? So I'm hoping we don't have any of those issues today, because I have so much to share with you all. And again, if you want to take that deep dive into the characteristics of Afro Bohemian design style, I invite you to watch episode 19 of Design Love podcast, where I break every single thing down. Oh, okay, yes, right. I've had that same experience where I'm watching somebody and I'm thinking it's me. I always say this, and I think a lot of people say technology is awesome until it start acting up, right? Till it don't want to act right. Then we're like, oh man, right? But when technology is moving and grooving, we're like, yes, thumbs up, thumbs up all the way. So I'm going to just briefly talk about, very briefly, some of the characteristics of Afro Bohemian design style, because it's my favorite style. Although when I work with clients, I can design in any style, right? I don't care if it's traditional, industrial, farmhouse, whatever client's preference is, I can design a space in a home, rooms in those styles. But Afro Bohemian is my signature, and I love to talk about it. I love to let other people know about the beauty, the depth, the richness, the dopeness of Afro Bohemian design style. So Afro Boho Design Style blends that free-spirited, eclectic nature of Bohemian design with elements of Afrocentric culture and heritage. Yes, I always do my little thump chest like that. Yes, all right, yeah, you agree. Thank you, McCarter. It is characterized by both vibrant colors with also warm neutrals for balance, rich textures, organic materials, bold patterns, unique furniture pieces inspired by African art and traditions. It really is like a laid back style, but it also can have, a sense of elegance to it, which I love and appreciate. It also focuses on individuality. That's perhaps my favorite part. It stresses bringing your personality, your personal touches into the design style. In fact, it's really the signature aspect of Afro Bohemian design style. It's also a blend of vintage, homemade, and found items. So even if you're not a Beyonce head, which I am, there's a song that she has off the Renaissance album where she says she's saying she's one of one. I look at that song though as a mantra to any person that you are one of one. And I think of that element as being a part of Afro Bohemian design style. You want to showcase your one of oneness. You know what I'm saying? Like you are dope. In fact, every person, all of us have our own dope-nificent center within us. And through your design style, how you express it, you want to put your one of oneness right there front and center in Afro Bohemian design style. When I engage with Afro Boho Design Style, I tend to focus on these 5 characteristics: artistry, craftsmanship, and individuality. 2, honoring heritage, culture, and legacy. 3, use from combining eclectic contemporary and pieces. And then 5, blending modern, ethnic, and classic vintage furnishings and decor pieces. I talked about having done this piece behind me, and a lot of people think that that's wallpaper. The focus of our talk today is on using wallpaper to ground your design style in Afro Bohemian. However, this is not wallpaper. This is hand painted by me, and it is inspired by Kuba cloth, West African Kuba cloth textile. And so, you can really tell, you can really look at this. If we were going to think of this as wallpaper, you can see how there's a lot of movement, there's a boldness to it, there's a specific conversation, and invariably people always ask me, what does it mean? And I actually named this piece Decipher That, because so many people ask me, what did it mean? All right, so drop in the comments, let me know, do you love wallpaper? For those of you who had already watched from the previous episode, I know that many of you said you love steel and peel and stick wallpaper, or regular paste wallpaper. So if you are just joining me, or you're watching this as a video, this live episode as a video, do you use wallpaper in your home? Are you afraid of it? Are you considering it this year? And are you considering learning how to do it yourself? You know, I love myself some DIY, because my design principle is custom on a budget. That means that you're going to do your share of DIY, you're going to repurpose, right? You're going to reuse, and then you're going to purchase items with an eye for sustainability and durability. Yes, practice putting on the wall. One thing you can do is, for practice putting something up on the wall, you could use cardboard, like some really stiff cardboard, and use that to practice on. Or you could go to like a thrift store or a consignment type of furnishing place and buy something really inexpensive, like a cabinet door. This is what I actually did myself, and that's how I practice. So I just bought a random cabinet door. I actually have a video, and I'm going to share it in the later, McCarter. I'll share it in the comment section of this video. I did a live. Oh, this was peel and stick wallpaper though, but nonetheless, you can still learn some things from that, but I'll share that. Thank you for mentioning that. But the idea here, the hack is to go and buy like a random cabinet door, something. Oh, I got a tutorial, 2 things on painting cabinets. So I will absolutely share those things as well. Thank you for mentioning, asking for that. I have videos on painting kitchen cabinets in particular. And but a random cabinet door, meaning it's not connected to a cabinet, is hard enough, and you can practice putting that wallpaper on. So why use wallpaper? 7 quick reasons, and then I'm going to jump into my 3 examples, my props that I have today. Number 1, wallpaper is durable. Okay, you can design. Hey, Little Mac, thanks so much for coming back. I really appreciate your time. I'm probably going to rush a little bit through this video, but I got to remind myself to relax and slow down, because you guys came back, and it's fine. It's fine. So number 1, wallpaper is durable. You can design around wallpaper as an anchor over many years, okay? When you pick a wallpaper you love, you can change out other aspects in the room and even shift design styles throughout the years. Number 2, it tends to be easy to clean. Wallpaper nowadays is designated as scrubbable. if it's not like a textile based wallpaper, and you can wipe it down. So you don't really have to worry about, and even if you use something that's textile based, like a sisal or grass cloth or anything in a textile category, you can use a very light brush and you can even vacuum that down if dust and stuff kind of accumulates. Number three, there are not hundreds of styles of wallpaper, there are thousands of styles of wallpaper. I should have brought, I didn't bring it down here with me. No, I don't have it over here. I'll share this in another episode, but I have books on wallpaper, patterns, and all those sorts of things. And I just actually just love looking at those things for inspiration. Number four, wallpaper tends to be economical when you apply it correctly. Thank you, everybody who's joining live. I appreciate it. When you apply it correctly, it can last 10, 20, or more years. You might not want it up that long, but it's good to know that you're going to get that economical factor. Number five, wallpaper creates depth and detail. Movement and emotional quality is present as well. Things are elevated when you add that wallpaper layer. Number six, it can work in unconventional spaces. The example I gave before was like an attic or somewhere it has odd corners. You can really make those kind of odd angles pop by adding a layer of wallpaper. And then seven, nowadays, most wallpaper is easy to remove, so you can change it out. And hence, we talked in the previous little brief part of this conversation about peel and stick wallpaper. We're going to focus on wallpaper to ground the room's design, and we're talking about building a story. Rooms, the conceptualizing of a room, a redesign of a room, you want to think of an anchor element. A lot of times I will, in interviews with a client, or if I'm just doing my own home, I'm going to pick something that takes up a lot of scale or visual space to anchor the room. So wallpaper, even if you're only doing an accent wall that is going to tend to cover a lot of visual wall space, you might pick an anchor like a floor rug, an area rug that will anchor the space, meaning you're going to build the room story off of that element. But for today, we're thinking about wallpaper as our anchoring element. And we're going to look at three different wallpapers. And then with my props, I'm going to pair those with different items, and we're going to focus my conversation and teaching around pattern, texture, color, and emotion. So first up, I'm going to start with this wallpaper. And this is just a remnant, actually, of a wallpaper that covers the fireplace wall in my living room. I absolutely love this. Actually, it's called Paprika. That's the name of this wallpaper. I'm going to move it closer, and on an angle, you can really see better how there's a little piece of fuzz there. That's what I meant about if something gets on it, you could vacuum it off. But this is a textile-based wallpaper, okay? And you can really see how thick it is, you know, here's the back of it, but it has this color variation. Certainly that paprika, or that kind of off red, and in the right light, it even looks orange. It even has like that kind of orange red color to it, but it has some darker tone. You see that kind of darker, it's almost a charcoal right here if you can see it in person. It has some lighter variations there. So you get to play with this quite a bit. And you remember, you can do things in opposite tone. So, for example, you could pair this with eggplant, which is in the purple and the black undertone or dark undertone category. But I'm going to hold up a couple of things that we might think of as pairing this with. And the first thing I'm going to use here is this frame. Now, you see how this gold and the texture of this gold frame. I'm only using this for color. I'm not using this to say, you put this frame in this room. But you can see how adding something in the tonal area of gold would look beautiful with this wallpaper. So you might think of accessories or picture frames, the edges of mirrors that you might pair that with gold. I'm not saying silver wouldn't work, but I just want you to see how rich that looks with the gold in there. And there's even a texture to this particular frame. So it'd be lovely to have texture on texture with this textile. All right, let's look at this piece of wood again to show how this tone of this particular wood looks so beautiful with this wallpaper with this paprika grass cloth wallpaper. Even this, obviously I love things that have texture with them. So this particular home decor piece, which is thrifted, I paid $3 for this. It's actually a pretty expensive piece of decor, but this wood tone looks so beautiful with this. It's walnut. That's what I couldn't think of in the previous clip. So this is actually walnut. This wood is walnut, and you could think of using a walnut table, walnut side tables, walnut wall hanging, maybe if this was much larger, to pair with this paprika grass cloth wallpaper. I want to also pull up a basket because baskets are commonly used in Afro Bohemian design style. I have lots of baskets. This particular basket has 3 different colors here around the side, and you can see how those colors work beautifully because those colors tonally are already in this wallpaper, in this grass cloth wallpaper, right? You could even imagine hanging this basket on this grass cloth wallpaper, right? Creating a basket motif. And then I want to do I want to do this Kuba cloth textile. This is a West African Kuba cloth textile. So you can see how, again, the natural color variation of this particular textile, and it has its own fabric. Let me turn it on an angle. It's easier to see when I pull it up closer there. Works beautifully. You could create pillows out of this textile. You could create a framed wall hanging to literally hang on top of this on the wall, creating lots of layered depth and character. And honestly, whenever folks come into my home, there's always questions, there's always conversation that people want to engage in. They say, oh, what's that? What's that made of? Wow, that's so different. That's so unique. So that's the paprika version of this wallpaper. And here's that same wallpaper, but in another color. This is charcoal smoke. Again, this one has so much richness. You did. You painted Kuba cloth on a beige drop cloth. I bet it looks amazing. Oh, my favorite thing is to paint on fabric. So drop cloth would be like right up my alley. I love to paint on fabric. That's so innovative, McCarter. Thank you so much for sharing. So this is that same grass cloth. Wow, that is, I bet it looks absolutely outstanding. This is that same wallpaper, you all, in charcoal smoke. And so let me again turn it on that angle so you can really see the beauty of the color variations there. And it just has, people often want to touch it, but there's oils in our skin, so I ask people not to touch the grass cloth wallpaper, but they just want to run their hand across it. They say, oh, I want to see how it feels. And I say, oh, please don't, because you don't want to end up with oil prints. But again, it pulls people into the room. It pulls people, invites them to literally be in community with your space because it's so intriguing. And it's part of that Afro Bohemian design style of individualism, personal touches, African heritage. Certainly items from the continent tend to be organic, have more of a textile component to them. So again, you want to think about that. Now I'll just show this ceramic piece. Let me grab this prop. With this, I think this is where I left off. This piece has these beautiful oranges and other colors, and you see how gorgeous that would look. Even if you had a chair or even a sofa in this dark, rich red or, sort of burnt orange, you could get really fly and funky with pairing that color tone with this kind of wallpaper. But you could also simply have those colors as accessories as well. And of course, you would have the basket, but I'm just going to bring out this walnut piece here. And you can see how beautiful that looks. With, again, not that you need this decor piece, but you're thinking about tables. You could even stain your hardwood floors in this pretty, kind of reddish, this walnut or hickory color there. So you could really explore how to ground your entire space with this wallpaper and create some variations. I want to show some pillows. Let me pull this one up. This one's kind of big, but I'm going for props today, y'all. So let's see, this pillow here, actually I purchased this pillow at a Home Goods. I don't often shop at like Home Goods and stuff like that because usually I'm making my own pillows, but this was a really inexpensive pillow that they were selling when they were doing like a cultural series or something like that. So this is not, this is inspired by African or West African textile, but it is not, sort of a true pattern. But nonetheless, you can see how this warm neutral in this pillow with that pattern and that geometric shape on there could go well with that grass cloth wallpaper. Last thing I want to do is show something that's really different. And this fabric is in this pretty alive and electric green. I personally would find no issue with putting, maybe if this was in a bedroom, you could buy enough of this fabric and create like a duvet color cover and then have some warm neutrals of pillows to tone sort of the green down. But this could be really beautiful as a pop of color in a room grounded with this charcoal smoke wallpaper. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think of these ideas. I just pulled out a bunch of different things to try to offer examples of how you might really anchor a room with that wallpaper. Okay, next up we have our peel and stick. Where my peel and stick folks at? Where my peel and stick folks at? I know before I had to redo this live, folks, Letitia and McCarter were talking about their appreciation for peel and stick. So peel and stick wallpaper is typically a vinyl wallpaper. It's it's not always heavy. I did a male client's dorm room. Well, it wasn't a dorm room, it was his apartment, but he was a college student. And I did a peel and stick brick look pattern in his bedroom, which he loved. It was on the thinner side, but nonetheless, usually peel and stick is of a vinyl nature. You can just peel the back off. You want to make sure things are aligned. You want to use your rulers. You want to use your level and all that. And the beauty is you can peel it off and take it off the wall and pretty much move on, wipe the wall down and move on. So this is a peel and stick here. All right. So I'm going to kind of turn this on the back. You can even see that this kind of has that, that backing. You just peel that off. This particular peel and stick wallpaper is actually a let me know what you think of this. This is actually a print of a piece of artwork that I did, and then I had that artwork turned into a wallpaper, and it turned out pretty funky. I don't know. I kind of like it. I haven't used it for anything yet, but let me know what y'all think. Again, I just love to try things. Okay, but anyway. Of course, I had this in the house, and I said, this is perfect for me to show. Thanks, McCarter, to show as this peel and stick variation. And you can get it comes in a standard width. I can't really show you. Yeah, I can show you the width here. I think this is 24 inches. That's a standard width. You can get, obviously more different widths of wallpaper. And so this one here, again, I want to show some examples. This is a really nice piece that you could put in a bathroom. This is a really heavy vinyl. You could put this as an accent wall in a bathroom, or you could put this in a dining room. You could put this even in a living room. It might be a little bit busy for a bedroom, but you never know. If you have, what do you call those? A powder room bathroom that's on the smaller side where you really have the toilet and the sink. You could really do something funky for a pop in there. I'm going to pair this with some fabrics. Let me do this one here. This particular fabric is like a batik. Okay. And so somebody might look at this and think, well, I don't know, they're busy, right? They're both of the same busyness. Like they're both kind of have a similar size in terms of the pattern. But I actually think that these two work very well together. Let me get this, so I can show how you could pair these together. And again, if we were putting this in like a den or a sitting room, and this was like our back wall, an accent wall, you could easily do pillows. You could do bench or ottoman cover in this type of a pattern, because we have a similar movement energy, but we also have contrast because we have the boldness of this large sort of X type shape, and then this shape here that's in the middle of this piece, and this pattern here that kind of rotates as a circle there. So these complement each other for me. Mixing patterns is truly one of my dope specialties. People often comment in videos saying, "Oh, I just love how you put that together." But let's take our piece of walnut and put that up here as well. You can definitely pair woods with this pattern with no problem whatsoever. I wish I had more props, but again, this was me just trying this out. You could try this warm, very warm red wood, because this black and white really then functions as a neutral, right? Although the pattern has lots of movement and can evoke emotion, right? This serves as a neutral because of the warmth of the walnut color. And don't pay too much attention to the pattern on here. Thank you so much. Who is that? Hey, what's up, Psalm Lewis? Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying this is so gorgeous. So that's something to think about. Think outside of the box. And again, this is a peel and stick, and I'm going to put a pillow up with this too. Okay? And this pillow has a pattern on it. This pillow has this small little yellow. Oh, this pillow is heavier than I thought. I should have taken the pillow insert out and just had the cover, but again, this is me working with props, y'all. Give me some grace. Look, I'm gonna give myself some grace. But anyway, I want to put this up, and I want to show how this pattern, this small pattern, and this yellow color here could work well. You could even have an entire chair covered in this pattern. You could get a chair custom covered, or if you could find a chair with this fabric. But I'm gonna put this a little closer. You could get this beautiful, almost a chevron, quite, with the pattern of, we call this flying geese. Is actually the literal name of this is taken from quilting. That pattern there's flying geese. And you could pair an entire chair, a furniture item, with this kind of boldness here of this, and it would be so fly and so dope and so original, right? I'm always saying, do you, boo, do you, okay? So I encourage you to explore whether you are going to create your own custom peel and stick, or look at peel and stick. I'm personally boycotting Amazon right now, but anyway, you can find peel and stick on Amazon, and really many other sites. Okay, our last wallpaper here is going to be a traditional paste paper. Morning. Hey, Catherine, what's up? Okay, good. You're going to watch the replay. Appreciate it. This wallpaper here is a traditional paste wallpaper. This has a little bit of a shiny sheen to it. I'm going to try to get it on an angle so you can see that pattern. It's called Starburst. That's the name of this wallpaper. And it's really a subtle, beautiful, warm neutrals wallpaper that it could go in so many places. You could put this in a bedroom. You could put this in a living room, a den, a family room, a powder room. I haven't mentioned the kitchen. I personally am not a fan of putting wallpaper in the kitchen, but it depends on the size of the kitchen. So if you had a larger kitchen where you actually had like a eat-in dining section, like a kitchen nook, a breakfast nook rather, then you could consider putting wallpaper like in the breakfast nook side of a larger kitchen. But for a kitchen, if I wanted that kind of unique factor, I would just stencil that, okay? Y'all know that I also, in addition to doing hand painted, I also do traditional stencil work. My bathroom video is really good. It shows me really putting the stencil work in that bathroom, as well as I have some stencil work in the room where my refrigerator is in my kitchen. But anyway, you would consider using stencil as well. But this beautiful organic starburst pattern is so lovely. It's not hard to put up. You just have to read all the instructions. This one won't stay up on its own like the grass cloth would. But again, there's so many things that you can pair with this. And I'm going to use this fabric here. This fabric is a fun fabric that I've had for a long time, y'all. This fabric, you see that bold fabric, that bold motif there? Matter of fact, let me hold the fabric up without the wallpaper for a minute so y'all can really see it. This fabric, isn't it wild? I mean, it's just, you can't get any bolder, honestly. It's just, I love this fabric. I have two sheets of this fabric. And for a long time, I had framed this fabric as wall art. Let me do it this way. I had framed this fabric as wall art, and ooh, so many comments about this framed fabric. That's another hack, y'all. Take your favorite, maybe a fabric that you feel like, oh, I would never put that on furniture, but you could frame it and it becomes wall art. Okay, but this would also, if I had more of this fabric, I would make pillows from it, because those pillows, let me pull that a little closer. Again, they're Afrocentric, or certainly they are ethnic. I can't certainly label them as entirely Afrocentric, but they have a lovely ethnic. Yes, yes, it would be perfect for a small moment, Catherine, like you said, to cover a bench. But I wanted to show how something this seemingly bold works so beautifully with this wallpaper here. Because this wallpaper is quieter, if you will, and this is very, very busy. In fact, I think energetically, this is the busiest pattern that I've shown in this episode, but it pairs nicely with the warm neutral and the subdued pattern on this particular traditional paste wallpaper. So I want to share that, and then I want to share something that's a little more neutral or calmer. This color variation here is, you could use black for the back and use the print for the front. Oh, wow. On a chair as a throw. Yes, that's a very good idea, Letitia. So this fabric here is actually a beautiful, simple, it has this flower motif. It has the dark here. This will be the darkest element. This it's a eggplant, actually. You can't maybe see it from here, but this would very well marry very nicely. Let me take it out from the fabric and fold this out. You could make some lovely drapes or curtains out of this fabric here. I just wanted to show y'all here the length of it. And let me turn it this way so you can really see this. You see this? This would look beautiful as a pair of drapes or curtains hanging on a window alongside this. Let me try to hold it up. This wallpaper. Okay, I just want to see y'all to see how that could work together. Okay. I don't want you all to be limited or afraid of using wallpaper. I'm going to roll this up so I can show y'all this roll of using wallpaper. Thank you so much, Little Mac. I said Letitia earlier, Little Mac. But I want you to really see this up close so you can see this design much better. And again, it's subdued, that when you first walk into a room, you might not really notice the starburst pattern because it's so subdued, and it has a sheen to it, which I actually really like. It's kind of giving a little bit of a glare here, but when I hold it up close, you can see it better. But it again evokes an emotion. And this wallpaper, I would say this wallpaper is calmer. Right? Yeah, yes, that's good. Yes, No Limit Soldier. This wallpaper is calmer in terms of emotion in a room, but then we could amplify that by adding that spark when I shared this print here in that same space. Then you can do sparks where you give more energy out of smaller moments in the room. A moment for me is, from a design perspective, is when the eye rests or moves about the room, and it touches on different color, pattern, and texture variation. And each time, that's a moment. I blinked out briefly there. That time, a time or a moment that happens for every time you move about the room with your eye. And I didn't put a, yes, I did. I put a wood element with that. I just want to make sure. So those are all three of the wallpapers that I wanted to share with you all. Grass cloth, peel and stick, and a traditional paste. And remember, there are thousands of variations of wallpaper. And like I showed you my example, you can even customize a wallpaper. That's all the rage nowadays, using original art. You have to be mindful. You should not download somebody's art that you haven't paid them or to license or whatever, and say I want wallpaper with this, because that's that person's intellectual property and they own that. So just be mindful of that, be respectful, and be appreciative of something like that. I want to do just a quick shout out, which is my design influence, which is my mom and my aunt Laura. My mom, Donna Jean, she's transitioned. My mom and my aunt Laura, my mother's sister, she's transitioned. But they too were my original design influencers before we thought of influencers. My mom, y'all heard my story before. I grew up in 13 different homes from the time I was born till I was 17. I'm sorry, apartments. We call them homes, but we moved all the time. But my mom could make something out of nothing, which is really what we didn't have much of nothing. But she was a supreme thrifter before we thought of thrifting. That was back when if you went to the thrift store, you were just poor, right? But so what? My grandmother taught me how to shop for quality woods. Fabrics. My grandma was a thrift OG. She taught my mother. My mother would bring things home, and although we moved a lot, she would just turn that joint out. Oh, I forgot to say my happy belated Mother's Day to everyone. I did it in the first one before I had to come and drop out. Thank you for that reminder. And so this is a happy Mother's Day. Thank you for that too. My mom, she could turn little or nothing into these wow factor moments. And, I wish that she had more available. Yes, the yard sales, absolutely. Nowadays, of course, estate sales are the things. So I just want to shout them out and give my absolute honor and homage to my aunt, who was really a visual artist. She would paint on the walls, gorgeous murals. So again, hence why I paint on the walls is through her influence. Thank you, Catherine. Happy belated Mother's Day to everyone. And I wish all three were still alive. My mom, Donna Jean, my aunt Laura Mae, my grandma Ethel, that they could see what I have created and how I was able to lift myself out of poverty to create this very rich and abundant centered life. So we're going to close out. Y'all know I close every episode out with an affirmation. So here's our affirmation for this episode. I am willing to take risks with wallpaper and color to create the room I absolutely deserve, centered in Afro Bohemian design style. Thank you so much, everybody who joined me for this episode of Design Love Podcast. Let's Talk Design, where I share tips and hacks to help you design your home your way. Yes, the flea markets, the church bazaars, absolutely, Little Mac. Man, those really were the days. They really were. I appreciate everybody who joined. Yes, willing and do. Yes, Catherine, we have to keep affirming. And that helps to build our confidence. It helps us to be unapologetic in centering a unique design style that represents, who you be at your core. I just believe in that profoundly. As I always say, I can design in any style, but I do center for myself Afro Bohemian design style unapologetically. So remember, live episodes will start back in season 3 in the fall, where I'll be coming out. I'm going to be asking for ideas of what you want to see for the episodes. Let me know what you thought of my props episode. Again, that was the first time I tried it, and I'm willing to do it again. I just have to practice where I put everything so I can bring stuff onto screen. If you are watching this as the video, shout yourself out. Remember to hit subscribe. Share this out. It helps with the algorithm. Make sure you like the video too. I had a great time. Thanks so much for joining me live, everyone. The last episode for this season is this coming Wednesday. That's going to be, thank you, McCarter. I appreciate it. The last episode of season 2 will be this Wednesday, and that is May the 14th. So I'll see you all for the last episode of season 2. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.